ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. So we will continue on the chapter 11 of Bhagavad Gita, starting from verse 10 onwards. Now let's see verse number 9 little bit again, where Sanjay is saying this. There are certain verses in Bhagavad Gita which have been said by Sanjay. There would be 6 verses here which have been said by Sanjay. In the beginning, chapter 1, also Sanjay said a few verses. Rest of the verses are practically, he reiterated what was said by Krishna or Arjun to each other. But here, these 6 verses are the verses from Sanjay himself. And he is telling these verses to Dhritarashtra, who is a blind king. So here he says कि महायोगेश्वर अपना संपूर्ण रूप, विश्व रूप, दिव्य रूप दिखा रहे हैं अर्जुन को. That is the verse number 9. After that, in 4 verses, he will actually describe what he saw, not what Arjun saw, what he saw. Now, he was given Divya Drashti, not Divya Drashti, Dur Drashti. Dur Drashti is basically like television. दूर से देखना, जैसे we see on television. Dur Drashti is exactly television. So what Sanjay saw on his television that time with his eyes, he is describing them on the following verses, 4 verses. But as we understood, he does not have Divya Drashti, he only has Dur Drashti. Divya Drashti has been given to Arjun. So his description would be very different from the description of Sanjay. So Sanjay says the first number 10 and 11, अनेक मुख और नेत्रों से युक्त, अनेक अद्भुत दर्शनों वाले, बहुत से दिव्य भूषणों से युक्त और बहुत से दिव्य शस्त्रों को हाथों में उठाए हुए, दिव्य माला और वस्त्रों का धारण किए हुए और दिव्य गंध का सारे शरीर में लेप किए हुए, सब प्रकार के आश्चर्यों से युक्त, सीमा रहित और सब और मुख किए हुए विराट स्वरूप परम देव परमेश्वर को अर्जुन ने देखा. Now this is a description. First we should understand, all of a sudden, if you are exposed to something which is unbelievable, unimaginable, you will be completely lost. You will be totally surprised. I tell you one example. When I was in Mongolia, now Mongolia is a landlocked country. The ocean is very far from there. So those people who have not left Mongolia, they have never seen ocean. So when the Prime Minister of Mongolia was coming to India, some members of the parliament who had never seen ocean, they told me that we should plan a visit to a city from where we can see the ocean. That was their desire, you see. We did that, and when they saw the ocean, they came back to Mongolia and they told me that they could not believe that ocean is so vast, fathomless, this total, you can't even see it properly, it is infinite. That was the description. You see, the person who had never seen an ocean in his lifetime and he sees the ocean, he is completely taken aback. A person, he cannot imagine what the ocean is all about. Now he can imagine because he has seen the ocean. But before seeing the ocean, you can't imagine what the ocean is. Like when we say a word to ourselves, when I say elephant, an image of elephant comes into your brain immediately. You say horse, image of horse comes to your brain immediately. But when you say Atma, there's no image that comes to your brain because we have not seen Atma. Similarly, when you talk about the Viswaroop or the divine form of Almighty, this cannot be fathomed by our mind and intellect. The mind and intellect does not have that capacity to fathom to that extent. So you can see limited version of it. That is what Sanjay did. Sanjay saw a limited version. In that version, in these two verses, he said he saw a very, divine form. He saw he was wearing all kinds of beautiful ornaments. There was beautiful smell all around him. He had so many eyes and so many hands and so many mouths. eh? And he appeared to be Sima Rahit. He appeared to be Asim. There was no, limit anywhere. And then he said, सब प्रकार के आश्चर्यों से युक्त. Now, आश्चर्य से युक्त, when do you become आश्चर्य से युक्त? When you have never seen that thing in before. So whatever he saw, he was totally taken aback. He couldn't believe what it is. But that he could see only through the Durdrashti. So this is what he saw, the divine form of the Almighty with so many, if you put together the entire human race and you put it in one particular picture, it's very difficult to describe it. You can see it, but you cannot describe it. For example, there are a crowd of 10 lakh people before you. You can see the crowd, but when you describe that crowd, it's not possible to describe. How will you describe that? It's not easy. So precisely the same situation Sanjay is facing. He saw the whole world in one particular form, in one particular place, and he was totally taken aback. He could not actually understand what is going on. And then in the next verse he says, आकाश में हजार सूर्यों का जो प्रकाश होता है वो प्रकाश भी उस विश्व रूप परमात्मा के प्रकाश के मुकाबले में कुछ भी नहीं था. So imagine, now there are two things here. Firstly, he was totally taken aback. So he didn't know what to do. So he was looking at light everywhere. He was looking light. He was, seeing only light all around him. He initially saw the very divine form of the Almighty. But then the divinity started, showing its real form. It bloomed into, like, for example, the sun rises in the morning. In the morning, it is very divine, very, quiet. You can see it beautifully, looks fantastic. But when gradually it shows its form, you can't even see at him. It becomes so, strong that if you see it with naked eyes, you are blinded completely. So the same way the light which was coming from that, divine form of the Almighty was unbearable for anybody to see. So when Sanjay saw it from his Durdrashti, he also saw that divine light everywhere, which appeared that it was many, many millions of times more than the light of a sun. That is how he saw it. So this is a description of that divine force which is not conceivable, which cannot be fathomed through our mind, intellect, and senses. Then he says that this is only his limited description, that पांडु पुत्र अर्जुन ने उस समय अनेक प्रकार से विभक्त अर्थात पृथक पृथक संपूर्ण जगत को देवों के देव श्री कृष्ण में एक स्थान पर देखा. Now these 4 verses of Sanjay are very important. He saw in the beginning the divine form, then he saw light and light and light. And then he simply says that in this format, Arjun saw that the whole universe in one single body, located in one single place. Now, how do you say that something which is infinite, how can you say it is located in one single place? It's not possible to do that because there's no place beyond that. Whatever place is there is there. That's it. So you cannot say it is located in one single place. The language has its limitations here. You cannot describe that divine form in the language. It cannot be fathomed through our sense organs, mind, and intellect at all. It is beyond description, beyond the capability of humans to understand. So that is the form which was shown. Now, there's a explanation here that it was fantastic light which was more than thousands and thousands of suns put together. Now this is also a concept not only in Hindu religion but also in other religions, that the divine force exists in the form of light. And in fact, the knowledge has been translated as light, light and darkness. The knowledge is called, light, and lack of knowledge is darkness. Similarly, the divine is described as light, and then you get illumination from that light. It is called enlightenment. Like Buddha got enlightened or Mahavir got enlightenment. Now that enlightenment comes from that light. Once you have a glimpse of that, infinite light, and you get that glimpse inside you, you become enlightened. There are, many saints in India who can make you experience light, not necessarily enlightenment, but make you experience light. And I have met one or two such saints who told me that they can make you experience light, infinite light. So these are certain things which we should not try to understand with our limited mind, limited intellect, and the sense organs. These are the things which go beyond that. So this is one thing I wanted to clear. Secondly, what Sanjay saw and what will Arjun see, these are very two different versions of the same divine form of the Almighty. Now you will see a very detailed version from Arjun, and you will find that Arjun is completely lost. The way he is describing, as if he has become completely intoxicated. He doesn't know what he is describing. So let's go to the verse number 14 first. उसके अनंतर वे आश्चर्य से चकित और पुलकित शरीर अर्जुन प्रकाशमय विश्वरूप परमात्मा को, no, sorry, let me read it again. उसके अनंतर वे आश्चर्य से चकित और पुलकित शरीर अर्जुन प्रकाशमय विश्व रूप परमात्मा को श्रद्धा भक्ति सहित सिर से प्रणाम करके हाथ जोड़ के बोले. Now Sanjay has stopped describing. He is now describing Arjun, what Arjun is seeing and what Arjun is behaving after seeing that form. So he is not in a position to describe it anymore. And he is describing what Arjun is stating. He is actually restating the statements of Arjun as has been the case in Gita either two. Here again he comes back to that format. So this distinction is very important. Now verse number 15, which is Arjun Uvach. Arjun is saying this. Arjun बोले, हे देव, मैं आपके शरीर में संपूर्ण देवों को तथा अनेक भूतों के समुदायों को, कमल के आसन पर विराजित ब्रह्मा को, महादेव को और संपूर्ण ऋषियों तथा दिव्य सर्पों को देख रहा हूं. Now this description is very different. संपूर्ण देवों को, all the divine forces I can see. Like we have devtas for the wind and devtas for the ocean and devtas for sun and the light. All those divine forces which are operating in this universe, they are all located in your body. That is first thing he says. संपूर्ण भूतों के समुदायों को, whatever races of any species of life, whether it is a human or animal or whatever form of life in existence, he says मैं सबको, I am seeing them together in your body, everything in your body in one go. कमल के आसन पर विराजित ब्रह्मा को. Now Brahma is the god of giving birth, and Shiva, Mahadev, is the god of destruction, taking that birth away. So he is also seeing the two contradiction, the force which gives you the birth and the force which takes away your life. The force of creation, the force of destruction, both are in you. Both are located simultaneously in you. This kind of description is available only in Hinduism. All others, as I explained once or twice in the past, like Christianity, they only believe God is good, He only creates, He only does good things, He doesn't do destruction, He is not involved in the people doing wrong things. No. Actually, when you convert a force into a worldly force, it acquires duality. So the Chaitanya of the Almighty or the Brahma Roop of the Almighty, when it is converted into a worldly force, the world itself, it has dualities. It has day and night. It has happiness and unhappiness. It has head and tail. Without this kind of duality, the expression of the divine force into the world is not possible. And that is why this duality can be seen in the divinity himself, in the Brahma, which is now visible to Krishna, to Arjuna in the form of Krishna's body there. He can see these dualities simultaneously existing there. The both Brahma and Mahadev there. And of course, Vishnu is himself, so naturally he is holding everything together. संपूर्ण ऋषियों को means the people who gave the knowledge to the humanity. The people who are scientists, who are great educationists, whom we call Munis and Rishis and Sant, those who experience this divine knowledge, and those who reiterated this divine knowledge in the form of Vedas and Upanishads and other scriptures, that knowledge, those people also I can see in your body. Now this is what you call in the beginning of the universe what happens, all that is seen here. दिव्य सर्पों को देखता हूं. Divya Sarpon means, there are divine snakes which have been talked about in Indian literature. Those are also available in your body. So here Arjuna is describing the totality of existence in Lord Krishna's body in one verse. Then he goes further down. हे संपूर्ण विश्व के स्वामी, आपको अनेक भुजा, पेट, मुख और नेत्रों से युक्त और सब ओर से अनंत रूप वाला देखता हूं. हे विश्वरूप, मैं आपके न अंत को देखता हूं, न मध्य को देखता हूं, न आदि को देखता हूं. Now he doesn't know because he's completely overtaken. The experience which he's having right now is a phenomenal experience which he never imagined in his whole life. And as a result, he is not able to put that into proper words but he is still putting them in some words. So he is saying that Anek Puja, if you put entire humanity alone together in one place, how many, Bhuja, how many hands you will have, how many stomachs, how many faces, how many eyes. That's only on the earth. We are talking about the whole universe. There may be so many earths in the universe. And all that humanity, all those animals, all those birds, all those other living forms, if they are put together and shown in one single place, what impression would it give? We will be completely lost. So he is not able to describe that properly, but he's trying to make some sense out of that fantastic experience which he's having. So he's saying that cannot see your beginning, I cannot see your end. Now that is understood because there are certain things. For example, you see a river. You are standing in on the bank of Yamuna in Delhi, for example. Now you cannot see the beginning of the river. You cannot see the end where it meets the ocean, but you can see at least the middle. You are standing in the middle. But here says, I cannot even see the middle. He cannot see the middle. That is the right description because a thing which does not have the beginning, does not have the end, how can it have a middle? It cannot have a middle. It's everything as it exists. It's neither beginning nor middle and nor end. That's how it exists. So that is what he's describing. That there is nothing which I can describe. Where is the beginning? Where is the end? Where is the middle? Everything is one single place. That is what he's saying. Now, to understand this, let's get an example from the space. I remember when Mr. Sharma, I don't know his first name, Rakesh Sharma, was the first human being from India who went on a Soviet aircraft into the space. And when he came down and he met Mrs. Gandhi asked her, how did you find the earth? How the earth looked from there? And he says it was looking beautiful, blue, in a roundish shape, something he described from that, space. Now, for example, we are sitting far away from the planet Earth in some remote planet, or say even in the solar system, we are sitting on Saturn, for example, and we are looking at the Earth. We are looking at the human being. Can you look at the human being? There's a vast space around us. The vast entity of, stars and planets which come into the place. The earth is a small little particle of dust in this universe. And on that particle of dust, there are some human beings sitting. What sense it makes? Even if we look at from the aircraft is just, only 33,000 feet above the earth. From there we see the earth, we see villages. The villages look like a small toy. The roads don't even look properly. Even rivers don't look, they look like a small little drain. Okay? Human being we can't even see. So imagine, even from 33,000 feet above the earth, this is the situation which we experience. Imagine the whole universe where all the stars, which are trillions, infinite stars, all the planets, which may be, quintillions, all the earths, which may be, I don't know how many earths, and on those earth, the species of life, we cannot fathom the greatness of it. We cannot, our mind cannot take it. So this is what he's describing. And if once we realize this reality, that we are not even a particle, even the earth is not a particle of dust. We are not a particle of dust on the earth. So our existence is minuscule. We are not governing this universe. Most of the time, we feel that I am governing everything. This institution will collapse without me. This family will collapse without me. These people will not survive if I am not there. All these feelings are useless. This universe is vast entity. It exists in infinite space with infinite number of species, infinite number of planets and stars and suns. Now, if we presume, which we normally do because of our ego, that without me this will not happen, this will not happen, that could not have happened. Now, that is absolutely nonsense. Once we develop that feeling that I am not even a smallest particle of dust on this in this universe, then you will feel that you are helpless. You are governed by others. And then you will have the feeling of surrender, that I should surrender to this universe. I should surrender to this. Wherever it takes me, I go. Then you will not have those desires. Then you will not have that ego. Then you will not have that the so-called, you know, so-called boasting of yourself that I can do this, I can do that. We are only a small little particle in this whole big universe, and we have been put into that small place like a small little you know uh, screw is put in the engine, and it performs its role on its own based on how the engine functions. Now that screw starts thinking that I am the engine and I am driving the car, then I think he's totally misleading. He is absolutely fooling himself. That is what we do ourselves. So if we realize this enormity of the Almighty, the enormity of this universe, where we are not even the smallest particle of dust, then we will feel our place. Then we will feel the real place where we are. And that is what this chapter means to us. Because it is not easy to understand the words of this chapter. Because you cannot, like, we cannot understand the word Atma. What does Atma mean to us? As I mentioned, if you talk about a horse, the image of the horse comes to your mind. But when you say Atma, no image comes to your mind. Similarly, you cannot get an image of the Viswaroop. You only get the image of the sky around you with lot of planets and stars, but that's all. But that is not the Viswaroop. Viswaroop is infinite. Viswaroop is, I don't know, you can't even quantify it. It is, there's a word which will come further down, aprameya. Aprameya means which cannot be understood, which cannot be measured in any sense. You can't even multiply it with that. That is what this is. So this is what we have to understand, that he cannot. So Arjuna says, आपको अनेक भुजा, पेट, मुख और नेत्रों से युक्त तथा सब ओर से अनंत रूपों वाला देखता हूं। हे विश्वरूप, मैं आपके न अंत को देखता हूं, न मध्य को देखता हूं, न आदि को देखता हूं। Now, next verse number 17. आपको मैं मुकुट युक्त, गदा युक्त और चक्र युक्त तथा सब ओर से प्रकाशमान तेज के पुंज, प्रज्वलित अग्नि और सूर्य के सदृश ज्योति युक्त, कठिनता से देखे जाने योग्य और सब ओर से अप्रमेय स्वरूप देखता हूं। Now he is trying to describe whatever little bit he can describe. So he says Mukut Yukt, Gada Yukt, Chakra Yukt. He picks up a few examples and he says, this is what I see. But then he goes, say, Prakasman, Tej Punj. I see the great light all around there. Prajwalit Agni, it's like fire. It's burning fire, which I see there. Or last में at the end he says, सब ओर से अप्रमेय स्वरूप देखता हूं। अप्रमेय स्वरूप मीन्स which cannot be measured, which cannot be described. There is no measurement of aprameya. You cannot have the length or the breadth or the depth or the, even the form, and no color, nothing, absolutely what you call attributeless. No attribute can describe that. That is aprameya. So he comes there that aprameya hai aap to, completely indescribable. I cannot describe what it is. So this is where he is reaching. This thing he is able to see because he has divya eyes. It is not that he has realized the Almighty, no. It is because he has been given certain uh, power to see that form, and that is why he is able to see in a limited way. Then verse number 18, आप ही जानने योग्य परम अक्षर अर्थात परम ब्रह्म परमात्मा है। आप ही इस जगत के परम आश्रय हैं। आप ही अनादि रक्षक, धर्म के रक्षक हैं, और आप ही अविनाशी सनातन पुरुष हैं, ऐसा मेरा मत है। Now, after getting completely overtaken by that form which he saw, he simply says, he surrenders himself. He surrenders and he tells that you are the ultimate power on this universe. You are the only power. The whole universe is dependent on you. इस जगत के परम आश्रय हैं, means the whole universe survives because of you. आप ही अनादि धर्म के रक्षक हैं. मतलब whatever movements and activities happen in this universe, they are designed and promoted by your force. This is dharma. Dharma means whatever natural. The dharma has two meaning, you see. One is called rit. Rit is the nature of the natural forces. Like the fire will give you heat and light. Now that is the rit of fire. The water will be cool and will always flow downwards. Now that is the rit of the water. Water will have that quality. The air will all the time will be blowing. That is the quality of air. And that is the rit of the air. The earth is moving around its axis. That is the rit of the earth. So the rit is the quality or the inherent tendency of the natural forces. That is called rit. And that rit is called dharma when it is applied to humans. It is called dharma where the natural law of governance should actually guide their life. That is dharma. Whether we actually behave as per that law or not, that is a different issue. But dharma is basically that we should be following that natural law of life, that is doing good of others, not hurting others, and things which we do for our own good, good of the rest of the humanity, that is what called dharma. But if you are doing something to harm others, if you are doing something to destroy others, then that is adharma. So the dharma and rit, these are the two different versions of the same law. The law rit applies automatically to the natural forces. In case of dharma, because we have this mind, man, which gives us that power of choice, you can adopt dharma or you can become adharmi. This choice is given to humans, and that is where the word dharma and adharmi comes into play. So this is what he is saying, that aap anadi dharma ke rakshak hain. And you remember he said earlier that whenever there is yada yada dharmasya glanir bhavati bharat, abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srichaman. So whenever there is a depreciation of the goodness in this world, I come back. So he says that you are the supporters of all the goodness, all the the guiding principles of life in this universe. और आप ही अविनाशी सनातन पुरुष हैं. अविनाशी सनातन पुरुष means basically indestructible living force, or which we can call it Chaitanya, we can call it what we call universal consciousness, basically the life force which guides the whole universe, that is called Anadi Sanatan Purus. It is non-destructible, it is has no origin, it has no ending, it has no middle, it was always, it will always be, and it has always been. So that is what the Chaitanya is. Last, the words he says, "Aisa mera mat hai." Now he has again come back on the same thing. वो ये नहीं कह रहा अभी भी कि ऐसा मेरा मैंने महसूस किया है. Even now he is saying ऐसा मेरा मत है, ऐसा मैं मानता हूं, because this, despite this Divya Chakshu, he is not realized yet. He is not the person who has realized the Almighty or you become one with the Almighty. Not yet. He is simply saying, ऐसा मैं मानता हूं, because he saw it all around him. Because of those Divya Chakshu, he could see that, and therefore he's saying that you are everything, you are the governor, you are the controller, you are the life force, you are eternal, you are omnipresent. All this is what this is my opinion. He doesn't say this is my realization. No, not yet. So this is very important, and that is why the Bhagavad Gita continues further down. If it had been his realization, the Gita would have stopped here. But it is not realization, it is only his opinion which he is expressing. Now, verse number 19. आपको आदि अंत और मध्य से रहित, अनंत सामर्थ्य से युक्त, अनंत भुजा वाले, चंद्र सूर्य रूप नेत्रों वाले, प्रज्वलित अग्नि स्वरूप मुख वाले, और अपने तेजस से इस जगत को संतप्त करते हुए देखता हूं. Now, he cannot find appropriate words to describe what he saw. So he is just trying to describe what he can, because language also has its limitation. Certain things cannot be described in language. Like if you have love for somebody and somebody asks you to describe it, how will you describe it? It cannot be described. You saw a yellow color. Somebody tells you, please describe it. How will you describe yellow color? You will say it is yellow. What does it mean? It doesn't mean anything. The person who has not seen yellow color, he will not understand anything out of it. If you say this is sugar, sugar is sweet, a person who has never experienced sugar and sweet, what will he understand? Nothing. So you have to have experience to describe a particular thing in language. Without that experience, the description in language is not possible. And that is why Arjun is finding himself in a very difficult situation. He is using certain words which he has heard and is reiterating those words, but those are not entire description of what he saw. This is the description based on his limited experience of words in the past, which he is using. So he says, again he's saying, like Sanjay said in the verse number 11, that आपके आदि अंत और मध्य से रहित है, because you have no beginning, no end, no middle. If something doesn't have middle, something doesn't have beginning and end, it cannot have middle either. So this is what he says. Anant samarthya se yug, that your prowess, your power is infinite. Obviously, he feels that he is infinite. Anant bhuja wale means you have infinite number of arms. Obviously, the whole world is there, so obviously it's infinite number of arms. Chandra Surya Roop Netron wale, their eyes are so big that they look like sun and moon, maybe even bigger than that. So that is what he's saying. Prajwalit Agni Roop Mukh wale. Prajwalit Agni means the fire which is burning. उस तरह का your face, your mouth looks like a burning fire. It's so powerful that it's burning fire. and you are making this whole world, santapt means the world is becoming restless. You are making this whole world restless because of this burning fire from your mouth. The fire is all around. Now, that description will come further down. We will expand it further when we reach there. But here in the beginning, he says that you are everything. Now, that is what he can say. If I see Almighty today in front of me, what can I say? Either I'll keep quiet, or if I describe, I'll describe on the basis of limited knowledge of my language and limited capacity of my mind and my intellect. So, this is what Arjun is trying to do. So, when we get this infinite experience, then everything becomes minuscule. And that is what we need to realize, that we are absolutely minuscule in this whole universe. Our existence is not even like an ant on the earth. We do not give importance to an ant or to a mosquito who is all around us in on the earth. Similarly, in this universe, our existence is not even like an ant. It's not even like the smallest particle of a dust. So, this is realization we should have after understanding this global or the cosmic form of the Almighty. This is very, very important. We must realize what we are. This whole chapter, in my view, is designed to make Arjun realize what he is. He should not think that he is the uh, determining force in the war of Mahabharata, that he is the killer or he is the winner or he is the loser. He will make the war win or he will make the war lose. That feeling he should not have. And this feeling should be dispelled by showing the enormity of existence in one single place. So, this is what this chapter is all about. It cannot be understood by language. It cannot be grasped fully by our mind and intellect. Remember this. Our senses cannot reach there. It is only an imagination which can fathom this existence of the whole universe. The feeling which we should have is that my existence in this world is absolutely minuscule, and I should surrender to this, to my Almighty or to the Almighty, whatever I am. That feeling of surrender should come here. And the feeling that I am the one who decides things, I am the one who is making the family run, I am the one who is making the organization run, I am the one who is making India run, that feeling should go away. We should perform our role as given to us, but that feeling of ego should not be there. The feeling of doer should not be there, which Lord Krishna has described earlier, that you are not the doer, you are only the doer, you are not determining the outcome. So you continue to do your duty, but don't worry about the outcome, because outcome is decided by infinite number of factors working in this universe. So this is what he is giving a glimpse of that to Arjuna, so that Arjuna realizes that he should not feel that he is the one who is determining the outcome of this war. So thank you very much, and I wish you all a wonderful Earth Day. Let us work together for reducing the waste wherever we can, reducing our consumption, because that is the only way out to save this earth. We have to reduce consumption. This consumerism is the root cause of the problems we are facing in environmental degradation everywhere. So let us work to reduce our own consumption. Let us reduce our waste which wherever we can, and let us give this lesson to all the people who meet and our own progeny. Thank you very much.